If Marcus Aurelius had ever been handed a credit card, he probably would have tossed it into a fire and called it an offering to self-discipline. This was a man who governed the most formidable empire on earth. Yet he chose to sleep on the ground, eat simple meals, and remind himself daily that everything, especially wealth, slips through our fingers sooner than we expect. Now, imagine placing that same man inside a modern shopping mall. Neon sale signs, buy now, pay later traps, personalized ads popping up on his phone, an endless dopamine loop engineered to make you crave what you don't need. Marcus would stop, look around, and ask the one question we've all forgotten. When did freedom become so expensive? We live in an era where financial instability isn't a crisis, it's the default setting. Debt is normalized. Impulse spending is celebrated. Discipline feels outdated, almost antique. And yet, 2,000 years ago, one of history's most powerful rulers wrote a private guidebook for staying rational, grounded, and emotionally unshakable while everything around him collapsed. He didn't write it for applause. He didn't write it for followers. He wrote it to survive. That notebook became Meditations, and hidden inside its pages is a financial worldview that is far more radical and far more necessary today than it ever was in ancient Rome. Marcus Aurelius was born into privilege in 121 AD. He had elite tutors, inherited wealth, and a clear path to the imperial throne. But instead of becoming soft or tyrannical, he became the rarest kind of leader, a philosopher king. Influenced by the Stoics, thinkers obsessed with virtue, moderation, and logic, Marcus trained his mind to expect hardship, to detach from comforts, and to accept that control is mostly an illusion. He lived through plagues, wars, betrayals, and severe economic decline. Yet his writing stays calm, direct, almost brutally clear. His goal wasn't comfort. His goal was sovereignty of the mind. At the height of Roman power, when the empire overflowed with exotic luxuries and global riches, Marcus deliberately chose simplicity. He warned against indulgence. He distrusted applause. For him, genuine wealth wasn't gold or property. It was the ability to remain whole when everything external fell apart. It makes perfect sense that Stoicism is rising again today. But here's the issue. We've turned Stoicism into Instagram quotes, while ignoring the economic machinery Marcus was trying to protect himself from. A machinery that's now far more sophisticated and far more predatory. Because today's financial system isn't merely chaotic. It's engineered to keep you overwhelmed and off balance. Personal debt in America is at historic highs. Credit card interest rates have crossed 20%. Financial literacy is shockingly low. And nearly every digital platform you touch is designed to push you towards spending, comparing, consuming, and never, ever feeling satisfied. The result? A society that looks wealthy on the surface, but lives paycheck to paycheck. A generation drowning in anxiety. People who are emotionally fragile, financially unstable, and more easily manipulated than perhaps any group in history. We've built an economic system that grows not by creating value, but by monetizing your emotional volatility. This is where Stoicism becomes revolutionary again. Not because it tells you to suppress your emotions. That's a common misconception. It's revolutionary because it teaches you not to let your emotions rule your financial life. The Stoics understood that while you can't control external chaos, markets, disasters, recessions, you can always control your internal response. Marcus reminded himself daily that death, loss, and poverty were just a part of nature, that craving things you don't have is a direct path to misery. and that self-control is the gateway to real freedom. These weren't just poetic thoughts. They were tools. They were a kind of armor against unpredictable times. And if you apply them today, they still work. Imagine approaching money the way Marcus approached power. No chasing status, no panic during downturns, no frantic need to upgrade every single time a company releases a new model. Imagine seeing financial freedom not as having more, but as needing less. That mindset isn't just some aesthetic minimalism. It's a direct threat to the modern economy. Because if enough people stopped over-consuming, the system would crack. Our entire economic machine runs on credit, on consumption, and on the constant manufacturing of new desires. The idea of enough is dangerous to it. Restraint is unprofitable. But restraint was exactly Marcus's superpower. He saw luxury not as a gift, but as a test of character. He believed comfort weakens us, that entitlement poisons the soul, and that real wealth is whatever cannot be taken from you. Today, most people define wealth through appearances: the car, the house, the numbers on a screen. Marcus would have called all of that vapor, smoke. He'd remind us that real wealth is the ability to stay steady when all of those things disappear. And that ability is incredibly rare in a world where a single interest rate hike can shatter a family's budget. So, how do we actually apply this ancient wisdom to our modern financial lives? It starts with a simple, Stoic audit of your desires. Look at what you want: a new phone, a bigger house, a luxury car. Now, ask yourself the question Marcus would have asked. Is this desire serving me, or am I serving it? Is it bringing me lasting tranquility, or just a temporary hit of dopamine? The Stoics practiced something called negative visualization. It's not about being pessimistic. It's about mentally preparing for loss. Imagine your life without your fancy possessions. Imagine a market crash. The exercise isn't meant to scare you. It's meant to liberate you. When you've already mentally rehearsed the worst-case scenario, you realize you can handle it. Your peace of mind is no longer tied to your stock portfolio or your job title. That's a powerful position to be in. Let's get even more practical. Cancel subscriptions you don't truly need. Unfollow social media accounts that make you feel inadequate or envious. Set a rule to wait 48 hours before making any non-essential purchase over a certain amount. Say $50. This creates a space between the impulse and the action. And in that space, reason can take over. That's pure stoicism in action. Marcus would also tell you to focus on what you can control. You can't control inflation. You can't control global supply chains. You can't control your boss's mood. But you can control how much you save. You can control what you learn about personal finance. You can control your response to a financial setback. Instead of panicking, you can see it as an opportunity to practice resilience, a core Stoic virtue. He wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." A financial obstacle isn't a dead end. It's a chance to get more creative, more disciplined, and stronger. The modern world sells us a very specific brand of freedom. The freedom to buy anything, anytime. But Marcus Aurelius would argue that this isn't freedom at all. It's a form of slavery. Slavery to our impulses, to debt, and to the expectations of others. True freedom, the Stoic kind of freedom, is internal. It's the freedom from anxiety, the freedom from envy, the freedom from the constant, nagging feeling that you are not enough. This isn't about becoming a hermit or rejecting modern life entirely. Marcus was an emperor, after all. He was deeply engaged with the world. It's about engaging with the world on your own terms. It's about building a mental fortress so strong that the chaos of the financial world can't breach its walls. It's about understanding that the richest person isn't the one who has the most, but the one who needs the least. 2,000 years ago, a Roman emperor sat in his tent on a cold battlefield, writing notes to himself. He wasn't thinking about building an empire of gold. He was building an empire of the mind. That's a project we can all start today, with nothing more than our own thoughts. In a world designed to make you feel poor, choosing to feel wealthy through self-control isn't just a financial strategy. It's an act of rebellion. Thanks for watching. If this idea resonates with you, consider subscribing for more content that challenges the way we think about modern life. See you in the next video.